The thing is that we kind of want this part up here, the ends of them, to show up, and then we're gonna put the little thingy things in there, and then but we want this area, the lower part of the stems, to sort of disappear into this depth.
So
Okay.
you've already removed.
I took my masking off
Okay.
because I decided,
I got you.
you know, and it was doing pretty things here, but it's
Were
never
we
going to
supposed
show up.
mask
Uh,
something?
She
You-
changed her mind.
Oh.
You can watch if you want to, and this is also going to be on video. So, so it's like multiple choice, you know. It's just, let's see. Whoops, wait a
Sorry
minute.
for getting ahead.
Yeah, no, that's the gold. Okay, let's get the gold and definitely some of the blue. So that again, here I'm not going to add any phthalo green to it. What I want is I want it to be something that kind of disappears, that gets kind of dark, and this little pleave right there, that needs to shade in more. Let's see. Let's just take, I'm even going to deepen what I've already got here. Okay. So I'm going to make these stems start out dark, and then I'm going to fade them to the gold. So this one's already been painted gold. See how I'm just going to fade that out all the way like that. So everything down in here is going to get dark except for this leaf here. And of course, here's another gold thing. So I'm going to have to shade that leaf. Where are the rest of these? The rest of these have got kind of a, let's see what that looks like. I'm just picking up something that I think is going to be kind of neutral here. So the veins on this one are not important. In fact, it's too small. The veins don't really show up much. You notice the larger they get, the more crinkly they get, and the deeper the veins go in. So this is a little bitty dude right here, just getting started in life. And I'm going to shade this side of it too. I don't want to get too dark, because I want to separate him from the rest of it, but I don't want him to get too important. So, just giving him a little gentle shading there. Okay, so you can see where these got dark, and this one.
So the stem is sort of a dull gold green, and the ball is sort of a gold.
Yes. And you could also, you know, these are quite green. You could make them greener than what I did. It's just a matter of choice.
The balls or the stems?
The stems. So the
Okay.
balls, I'm gonna just use Quin Gold by itself. And since I'm keeping this area light, to make them stand out, I'm gonna go darker with the ball. Now here, I've already got some on it. But I want to pull up maybe a little shadow. I hate the concept of outlining it, but I think I'm going to do just a little of that because
You want it to pop.
I want it to pop.
Well, and it's spherical, so if it really was a sphere, the outlining shaded would be appropriate.
There, I'm justified. Yeah. So then you got to pick a color for these. I don't care. You know, they could be kind of a reddish gold. You could make them purple. You could make them black. You know,
What now?
the little dingy things that I'm fixing to put out here.
Oh, the dots?
Yes,
The
the
dots
dots.
that we at one time had masked.
Yes,
Ah, gotcha.
yes, that I changed my mind on. Okay.
And how do we get the mask off?
Oh,
Oh my God.
That gun.
okay.
It comes right off.
I'll come over there
Yeah.
and show you. So, and then they may not all be quite the same size. You might get some that are a little larger than others. You know, let them vary a little bit. So, okay. So now a stem between them, yeah, we could use that. I almost would go in with a, if anybody's got it like a teeny brown pen, for instance, or something.
Yeah, I didn't bring it.
But I wouldn't try to do that with a brush, or not right now. I've got a brush that I could do it with, but I didn't bring it, of course. You want those lines to be just real thin. Just, yeah, if they get bulky, it's just going to almost mess up your whole painting. So, let's see. So let's come over here.
She wants to scare me.
I do.
Just don't put them in. They're invisible.
So, I've got a blob of paint, and it's too dry, and I've got a blob of paint on the end of this. Oh, that looks horrid. Okay, let's see. Let's get a little bit more gold. Oops. And some water. We need water, because I'm fixing to mess this whole thing up. Well, that's a lot more red, I think, but it's also not dry. So I'm going to taper that color back into the stem a little ways, like that. Okay. Gee, that looks kind of, now I'm trying to balance them. So my recommendation on this is that you do all these at the same time so they match. I had a nice start over there to work on, and here I tried to just put it all in there. I kind of messed it up. Okay, there. That's not too bad.
No.
So you want the little dots maybe to go really dark. You're going to want to have pretty much finished these leaves. It could be that you'll come back in a mood here and decide to put a little more shadow in a couple of places. You know, that could happen. Obviously, it could happen because it's happening right now. Okay, so stuff like that. See these little poppy things like this. And at some point, like that stem going right down in here, I want it to start disappearing. You know, it's the same strength all the way down. And this is darker down here, so if anything, that stands out more. So at this point, might just pick up a little of this. Let's see, how much do we need? We're just going to start to deepen it. That's not enough. That's not strong enough.
Really?
That pushed it down into
I want to push
shadows.
it down a little more. I want it to just almost lose its identity. Probably right about there. I may have to deepen the background too because I'm getting an outline, you know, where the two areas overlap, and I don't want that effect there. So we'll see what that is dry, but you see how all this is going to merge down in there so that it doesn't really matter how clumsy these stems look because they're going to disappear, because they disappeared there, and you know, I can't make sense out of them. You know, so we want them to just all kind of go together, okay? So that's the plan.
Okay.
That's the whole plan. Okay. So what part of, I still haven't planned right. Somebody hand me their photo.
You need to do finger puppets while you're...
Yes, you could do finger.
There's Mike's.
Thank you. Okay. So you'll notice that this area here is just kind of murky, dark, lost. And that's what we want. We want that lost feeling in there where we don't overly define this area. So what's going to happen is that it may start out, this is still more defined than I want, but we're going to kind of start it out a little bit like that, and then we're going to eventually, as we build it up, some of that's going to get even more lost. So you want to avoid making these areas stand out too much. Okay. So, wasn't good for the camera, was it? Okay. So I've got pretty strong color here. And I'm just going to lay it in some of these places here. And like that stands out way too much. You know, these are all things I'm going to have to change up. So I think what I'd like to have happen in here is I'm going to, for instance, maybe make it dark on two edges. And then I'm going to have it kind of vary a little bit, you know, just to keep it from looking unnatural. We'll do that. So we got a little of that background coming through. Let's see, what else have we got? Oh, there's this spot, for instance. So basically, I mean, this part's going to be pretty simple. You're just laying this in. And then as you're coming out this way, let's see, let's do one more here. And by the way, the drawing does not have that stem in it. And I decided that although you can barely find it on the photo, that if things get too sharp back in there, this will look like it's floating if you don't have a stem. So I did put the stem in you know, just sort of a dull down gold. Okay. Which you, if you're just starting this, I'll go back over that later. But for those of us that are already into this, I thought I'd mention it again. Okay. So, okay, we'll do here. So as we come out away from the center, let's get lighter. I forgot to turn my phone off. Two. So, okay. So here I'm going to come out and I'm going to begin to fade it. Where you want it to fade is up to you. I have something there that I don't even know what it is. Gee. So let's, you know, mostly I'm using this new brush. So with this one, and probably most of your brushes, you can just rake it off, and that's probably enough. This one holds a little extra water, so you might, you know, want to do a little of that. And then I'm adding just water just to the edge. So the point is that and here I'm kind of going up in there, reaching up into it, just teasing it out however much I want to come out here, so that I can fade that out kind of naturally. There, like that. So we're working this center that way. I'll do one other spot here. Okay, like that. See, this filled in. Look at that. So I'll just come back and pull a little more color up now that it's drying some. For instance, doesn't mean that you need to do that there or, you know, anywhere. That's just part of what I'm doing. So that gives you a general idea. I don't want to do the whole thing because I don't want to keep you standing here, and because I need to leave this open for leave half of it for another class. Do a little bit right here. And again, I'll kind of make this a little bit uneven in there. Okay, so maybe like that. All right, then let's look at this leaf, which is going to be this one on here. So you've got this undercolor painted in here. And now we want a dark green, make a dark green leaf out of it.
What colors are you using?
So I've got here, the basic colors I'm working with this whole thing are Quin Gold, and Ultramarine, and Quin Burnt Scarlet.
Okay.
So that's my green right here. that may just be a little too dead. Let's see. If we put a little more gold in it, let's see what that does to it. That's still too dead. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get dangerous.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you know, I hate
Just-
messing this
just-
up.
Just take a little bit off of there, that's all you
All
want.
right. All right. Oh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know that's all you want.
Well,
Poinsettia.
in fact, what I'd really like to do is put this over here, but I've already contaminated this other stuff. Okay, here. That's pretty good color right there. So that mixture, the Quinn Gold with the ultramarine, has got some phthalo green in it. So then if you look at your photo, you can see that we have light colored veins on the leaf. So what we're going to do here is we're going to paint around the veins, just like this. And here, let's do just a little bit more. And then I'm going to come back and kind of mess that up just a little bit. That's just a little too controlled looking. So, whoops, this way. Do just a little bit more of this. So I don't want all of these veins to show all the way out to the edge. That's just a bit much. So let's come in and let's you could also let this dry or nearly dry and then come back and see what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to kind of tone them just a little bit rather than have it all or nothing. That in between would be nice. So it may be that it's probably your best strategy is to wait till it's started drying a little bit and then to go back and dampen the veins or some of the veins, not all of it. Let me do one more spot here. And then I'm going to be actually out of paint anyway. So, oh dear, I'm totally running out of paint. Whoa.
What do you call these
Veins.
veins?
Veins, yes.
Veins.
Okay, so something like that. So all that does is that gives you another dark in here to go with the rest of this. I don't want this to totally take over take over is the most important thing. Right now it's looking just almost too flashy, but I think when we get through it won't. If it does, then we'll come back and we'll mess it up a little more. Make it look a little more murky. Okay, like, okay, yeah, murk is one of my favorite. Okay, so something like that. So you're deepening this and making this richer in these areas that you've already filled in with another color, and then you're going to come back and do this part, okay? And then those of you who are starting them, I'm going to do a little demo on